live and direct from the Golden State. It's intelligent talk media, The Denice Gary Show. Now, here's Denice Gary.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Denice Gary Show. Gosh, it's been a while since I've been with all of you. I want to apologize, but I'll tell you, I think thanks to President Trump and this booming economy, it's been very, very difficult to find a new producer. And I wanted to start with that today, ladies and gentlemen. I wanted to start with the Washington Times editorial board's comments saying that, quote, it's good news for nearly everyone. I don't know if you know it, people, but minority unemployment continues at record low levels. Did you know Hispanic unemployment is at 4.2%? It's the lowest ever. Oh, happy day, right? Oh, happy day to be back on the Denice Gary Show and to have all of you with me. I think about the fact that right now, I was calling everyone, churches, the university, Bakersfield College, everyone putting ads up on Facebook. It says here, based on the job numbers for President Trump, that unemployment has diminished to the vanishing point that even high school dropouts have got a job. I thought everybody had to have a high school diploma to get a job in the United States of America. Not so fast, ladies and gentlemen. High school dropouts are all working. So I looked at the Wall Street Journal. So the Wall Street Journal's editorial board, they said this, that Friday's labor report showed that employers added 263,000 jobs in April. Oh, happy day, ladies and gentlemen. So let me share out a little bit more information. The Washington Examiner editorial board says Trump-era economy is a rising tide lifting all boats. Don't you love that? Share that out with your Democrat friends. Ladies and gentlemen, call a Democrat today. Call a liberal. Say, did you know that the Trump-era economy is a rising tide that's lifting all boats? Here's the figures, ladies and gentlemen. Manufacturing wages were up 2.9% year over year. It's the greatest rise since 2003. And according to Philip Klein, it says the U.S. unemployment has gotten so low that most Americans were not alive the last time it was at this level. It says on Friday, the Department of Labor reported that unemployment rate dipped to 3.6 in April. Adam Brandon of the Washington Times says, thanks to Mr. Trump and the GOP's pro-growth agenda, and despite the partial government shutdown, Americans from every demographic are finding success in today's economy. April jobs report parties like 1969, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Denice Gary Show, and I want to thank all of those. I want to say a particular thank you to John Sliegel from Scope Communications. He did a lot. He even came down to the studio to help one of the earlier producers I had hired in this 2.5-week period to help. It didn't happen for us, but I'll tell you, Scope Communications, that John Sliegel, he does a fabulous job in doing commercials. And just really appreciate him and his help. And I appreciate those churches that took the time to call me back and let me know that they didn't have anybody available. It's the Trump economy, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we've got a special guest that I want to interview today talking about the rally there in Sacramento. Greg Burt of the California Family Council. He'll be up next after this commercial. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Denice Gary Show 5 days a week at 5. We'll be right back.
I want to tell you about a place I love to go, Frugatti's Italian Restaurant. Very few locations here provide seating outside in front of a fabulous water fountain with an atmosphere that is reminiscent to me of eating outdoors in Venice. This is real Italian food by real Italians. And what makes it even more so is owner Ralph Frugaletti, who nearly a quarter century ago brought a wood fire oven from Milan, Italy to make, like his mother, fresh homemade bread and pizzas. Moreover, Frugatti's Restaurant offers you not only the very best in Southern Italian cooking, even importing the finest ingredients for authentic Italian food, including a fitness menu. After all, Ralph has represented the United States and Italy, competing in the Master Championship Games. He knows all the right food for good fitness, so check out the menu. After today's broadcast, run over to Frugatti's Italian Restaurant and Catering at 600 Coffee Road here in Bakersfield. And after a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday service, stop into Frugatti's for a great lunch. I'll see you there, and tell Mr. Ralph Frugaletti that Denise sent you. Salute.
Denise Gary Show. I have Greg Bird on the line with us today. Greg Bird is the Director of Capital Engagement. He's up there in Sacramento, California. Director of Capital Engagement and California Family Council. Greg, welcome back to the Denise Gary Show.
Hey, glad to be back.
Tell us about that rally in Sacramento today. Tell the audience what it's all about.
Well, yes, up here in Sacramento, we had a couple hundred parents coming from around the state, coming to talk about and address a framework, a education framework, which is actually a guide that the Department of Education puts together to guide how health education is going to be taught in the state over the next decade. And they have been working on this document for a long time, and they're getting ready to approve it. And we are just trying to let the public know how incredibly graphic and degrading it is, and get people to read it. So
Greg, it says here in this press release that parents up and down the state of California have felt actually physically sick to their stomachs looking at the California State Board of Education's health framework that basically teaches children about sex in terms of sexual experimentation, beginning with TK, transition kindergarten, through 12th grade or high school. Apparently, this healthcare curriculum teaches about sexual experimentation. I can't even imagine a public school teacher being paid by the taxpayers of California teaching people's children about sexual experimentation, exploration. I understand that sex toys are introduced, that sexual pleasure lessons, things about your gender identity, teaching people to question. Young people, I mean, what happened to just teaching reading, writing, and arithmetic, Greg? Isn't that what we need students to know, is the basics and science and things like engineering and how to be able to go out there and get a decent job? Why is the California State Board of Education, why are the Democrats, why are they pushing this sort of sexualization of our children from kindergarten through high school? What is that about?
Well, you really have to ask them, because many times they are confronted with those questions. I mean, how they present it as kids need information about sex. We can't hold it back from them. They're going to get it from their friends. So let's make sure that the sex education the kids receive is comprehensive and medically accurate. Okay. But when you see what they mean by comprehensive, I mean, they are introducing kids to every conceivable sexual practice that, they would, be in an adult bookstore, and they're bringing the adult bookstore to the classroom.
It says,
and I'm not exaggerating. One of our biggest problems, we make these statements, we say we're feeling sick to our stomachs when we read this stuff, but we can't get the press, and we can't get television, and even we can't mention how graphic it is, because it's too graphic for the airwaves.
I'm going
or
to
they can't show the actual education curriculum on television because it's too graphic.
I'm going to mention
What do you think?
I'm going to mention it right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking at Greg Bird's press release. You can look at it too. Go to your internet. Go to californiafamily.org. It says, parents say proposed Cal Health Ed curriculum makes us sick. Ladies and gentlemen, in the press release, Greg has a book here. It's called What's Happening to My Body? Book for Boys. This book is being recommended by the California Board of Education for 4th and 5th grade boys. It teaches them slang words for male and female genitals and masturbation. Since when do we teach children in 4th and 5th grade about masturbation and having sexual fantasies, Greg? I mean, look at what the Democrats are doing to the state of California. This is all about, isn't this about that AB, what is this legislation? AB 329, isn't that what the Democrats passed back in 2015, AB 329? Is that what this is about?
Well, the Healthy Youth Act was the comprehensive sex ed that was passed back then, and so now the health curriculum is being revamped. How we're going to teach health in all grades is being revamped based on what that law requires. But the funny thing is, the law does not require this kind of information to be put into elementary school, but it allows it. Okay, so because it allows it, they've come in and they are, introducing sex, graphic,
graphically
all the graphic details for the little kids.
Okay. Yes.
For us, it's not as though we don't think kids should ever learn about sex, but you don't want them to engage in it. You don't want them to experiment. So you don't tell them the details when they're little, right?
Right.
There's no need for them to know the details of the Sex Act. But they've got books here, a book called Changing You, A Guide to Body Changes and Sexuality. And the book includes close-up illustrations of adult and child genitals. It includes the Sex Act itself. I mean, close-ups with all the details. With we joke about it, but we said if we ever had this book and we handed it to a little kid in a park, we would get arrested.
I think it would be traumatizing for now, ladies and gentlemen. Let me put this book in context for you. The title again is called Changing You. It says Changing You, a guide to body changes and sexuality. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the California State Board of Education is telling your child's teacher that this book is recommended for kindergarten children who should be learning their numbers and ABCs and how to begin reading books, but it's to be introduced to kindergarten children through 3rd grade, and it includes, quote, graphic close-up illustrations of child-adult genitals and the Sex Act itself. Now, to me, that sounds like pornography. When I look at there are 1, 2, 3, 4. Greg, you mentioned 4 different textbooks to be introduced by the California State Board of Education, and all of these books are really pornographic material, and I want to ask the audience the question, what are you doing to fight this in your school district? What are you doing to stand up to the California State Board of Education? Greg, I want to give out Tony Thurman. Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Thurman is the State Superintendent of Public Instruction. My new producer, Isaac, I want to thank Isaac for being for doing everything that I needed to have done and doing it in a beautiful way, in a timely way. Isaac, welcome to the Denice Gary Show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Thurman, our State Superintendent of Public Instruction, 916-319-0818. There's a couple things here. Number one, Greg, you're still with me, right?
Yes.
We need to ask the audience to call Tony Thurmond and say what? Repeal AB 329 and
No, well, tell them to vote. The AB 329 has already been passed.
But they need to
Okay.
repeal it, right?
Well,
No.
at this point, we are just trying to introduce legislation to alter it to make it more transparent.
Okay.
I mean, we gotta shoot at this bit by bit. So what we're right now doing is telling the State Board of Education to reject this framework. And
okay.
Tony Thurmond was there today. I just saw him 30 minutes ago because I stood up and testified before the State Board of Education, and I read part of their, this book that they're recommending, Sex All You Need to Know Sexuality Guide to Get You Through Your Teens and 20s. This is a book they recommend. They recommend that schools promote this as a school-wide read, right? And I just read it to them and said, and we talked about body fluid and blood play, what it is and how you do it.
Body fluid and blood play? What is that?
It says that some people. Do you want?
Can you share with the audience? What is that?
Okay, fluid. This is using body fluid in sex. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And all
so
the body fluids, urine, blood, and all the. I can go through the details.
So people are supposed to urinate
but
on
talk
one
about
another?
enjoying tasting and feeling and smelling them during sexual activities. That's a quote from the book.
That's a quote from a book that's supposed to go out to the children of the state of California to read?
That's what the framework is recommended. That's what the State Department thinks is age appropriate and good, healthy information to give to your high schooler.
You've got to. I can't. I don't want to read the book. I don't even want to know what it says.
It was very embarrassing reading it, but I just read it because what else do you say? We keep on saying it's graphic. We keep on saying it's inappropriate.
It's pornographic.
You just have to read it.
It's pornographic.
It's pornographic. This stuff. This is beyond. This is so degrading. What civilized nation? What civilized nation teaches this to its young kids?
Isaac, do you have the phone number for Tony Thurmond still up?
I can put it back up right now.
Isaac's the producer. He's going to put, ladies and gentlemen, the number back up for you. I want you to call Tony Thurmond. What was 916, ladies and gentlemen, 319-0818. So Greg, from the California Family Council, Director of Capital Engagement. Greg, what was Tony Thurmond, the Democrat? You know, the Democrats control the state of California. This is what we get. This is what we get because people in California have voted for Democrats. And I think it's really important that you reach out to every Democrat. A lot of Democrats happen to be Christian and Jewish and Muslim. And some of those people are conservative. I think about Hispanics that always vote Democrat, right? They're Catholic. I think they'd be horrified to know that their children would be taught this. Protestants, Jews, as I said, Muslim conservatives. What?
Anybody.
Greg, what was the reaction of Tony Thurmond, the state superintendent of public instruction? How did he react to this?
They're looking down. They look like they're reading something else. They're not paying attention. They're ignoring us.
Did he have to approve? Does he have to sign off? Did he have to sign off on this?
This is what they're voting on. This is part of the framework.
Does he vote?
Yeah, I looked at who was on the state school board. I did not see him, so
okay.
The reason he was there, I don't know. I don't know what his role is. I know he's the California State
Superintendent of Public Instruction. Right.
Yeah.
He's in charge.
So he's in charge of this.
Yep.
And so,
What is my number? I had a number. I gave you the number, I think, Mr. Producer, of the California State Board of Education. Did I? Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the number. These are the people, Democrats, liberals, liberal progressives, that are trying to do this for our children. You said this is supposed to be approved next week. What day?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay, so everybody
Yep.
needs
It's been a long process. This framework has been going through various revisions over the last 6 months.
Okay, so everybody needs to get on the
This is
phone.
the very end.
Okay, so everybody needs to get on the phone tomorrow morning because this show is heard 5 days a week at 5, so I imagine it's going to be too late. So I'm sure their phone lines are closed by 5. So, ladies and gentlemen, Thursday morning, tomorrow, when do they open? What, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning?
Usually 9.
9, okay, so ladies and gentlemen, 9 o'clock, everybody get on the phone, 901, 902, all morning long, I want you to call the California State Board of Education. Their number is 916 area code. Would you put up that number, please, Isaac? Okay, Isaac's got it up for all of you. 916-319-0800. California State Board of Education, 916-319-0800. Greg, this is just, I just cannot imagine the mental health issues that the children of the state of California will have to face. The confusion, the worry.
Well, I didn't get to tell you about the gender identity stuff yet. You ready for that?
I think no, but go ahead. Go ahead. Tell me the whole thing. Let's go.
Okay, starting in kindergarten, kids are going to learn that they can be a boy, a girl. They could be both genders. They could be neither gender. They could be queer gender or gender fluid.
What is gender fluid exactly?
Spirits.
What is gender fluid exactly?
That means that your gender could change from moment to moment.
Ah, okay. I read about a new bill that the Democrats were looking to pass. Have you heard about it, where prisoners in California state prisons will be under this bill that was introduced by a Democrat in the state of California? I have it here somewhere, where a prisoner can say that he identifies with a particular gender, which will force then the California state prisons to then house that prisoner with other inmates based on their sexual choice for any given day or week. So let's say a prisoner walks up to a prisoner guard and says, you know, I feel like a woman, you know, let's say a male prisoner, okay? A male prisoner walks up to a prisoner guard and says, you know, I feel like I'm a female prisoner today and I want some lipstick and perfume and hairspray. And so he tells the prison guard, I identify as a woman today. According to this, apparently this is SB 132, inmates get to pick their own sex. It was introduced by a Democrat from San Francisco. His name is Senator Scott Weiner. The bill lets inmates Weiner, okay. It lets inmates decide their own sex at any moment in time, and then requires correctional officers to refer to them by that sex and house them with other inmates. Have you ever heard of anything so ridiculous in your life?
Well, this is the logical outcome of saying that people can pick their gender, right? We allowed it a couple years ago on driver's licenses. We said, you know, if somebody identifies as the opposite sex, well, then that's the gender they are on their driver's license. You can pick either gender or you can pick a non-binary. That happened a couple years ago, and we could hardly get anybody to oppose it.
You know what? Why
right?
can't
So
people just
now,
look in the
mirror? Now, it's a logical, okay, well, if that's the truth, that you can pick your gender in your license, then why can't you pick your gender in the prison system?
And we're going to teach little kindergartners that they should, when they look in the mirror, they should question who they are. But of course, in the mirror, they know who they are. They know if they're. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know, if you're confused about your gender, just look in the mirror. You know, tell yourself over and over again if you're a man or a woman. It's really that simple. You know, just check yourself out in the mirror after you've taken a shower, whatever you have to do. Just convince yourself. Just look at yourself in the mirror and convince yourself. Say it to yourself 5 or 10 times. You know, it's not that difficult. There doesn't need to be confusion about your gender. But that's what this is about. I think it's about confusing precious little children that are supposed to go to school and learn how to read and write and do arithmetic and learn science and grow up and make a contribution to the world. I mean, I remember reading books about Nellie Bly, the first woman spy, Elizabeth Blackwell, the first woman doctor in the United States, Florence Nightingale, the famous nurse. I mean, I was reading books about famous women and their contributions that they made to civilization or to the United States or to a war effort. What happened to that? What happened to teachers just encouraging people to read books that will encourage them to be the greatest and most fabulous person that they can be on earth by making a contribution and helping others? What happened to that?
I don't know. I think parents are asleep. We're all asleep. We're just trusting our nice school district and our smiling officials, and we're just trusting them to have judgment,
Our liberal
have moral
progressives.
judgment, have common sense, to listen to people's complaints and know their people. We have in this silence. Especially on issues of sexuality, we kind of, I don't want to deal with that. People get so upset, right? And so you quiet yourself down. You don't say anything, and then this is being pushed by the other side, who have a completely different worldview when it comes to sexuality and gender. They believe that sexual behavior should be completely open, and your feelings should dictate what you do.
Well, you need to exercise self-control,
same thing with your gender. Your feelings dictate gender. So, and no one should tell me what I can identify as. And so.
So you could identify as an animal if you wanted to identify as a dog tomorrow. You could wake up and identify as a dog.
Well, they haven't gone that far, but that is where that's where
it's
logic
going.
leads. I've seen stuff in England already. People identifying various animals and living as dogs, cats, and goats, and.
That's the logical
Everybody's trying to be accommodating and, inclusive. This inclusiveness just goes right,
So,
it's really sad. It's so sad.
So
But we, folks, we can make a change. This is not inevitable. We live in a democracy. We live in a constitutional republic where our representatives are supposed to represent us and our values. And we need to demand that of them. And even of the people on our side, right? They've got to champion this, right? We need leaders who will stand up and not simply vote our way. They will stand up and expose this stuff. Because what's happening is, who's fighting this? Moms, right?
Moms, and you're fighting it, Greg, and I'm fighting it.
Upset moms with little kids.
Right.
They are fired up. They are willing to do whatever they can. They call themselves mama bears, right? And Informed Parents of California started with a mom with 3 kids, and she started. Her church was telling her about stuff that was, introduced in the schools, and she started a Facebook group, and she started posting what she was finding.
Is that?
This is Stephanie Yates.
Oh, Stephanie Yates. Okay.
Eileen is also involved. Yeah, Stephanie Yates is one that started about a year ago. Started with a Facebook group.
Okay.
It's now over 20,000 members.
How do people?
And they're starting chapters all over the state.
How do people? Do you know how people join these mothers that are fighting this horrific health framework? It's how do they join these groups to fight against this sexual indoctrination?
If you're on Facebook, they post a lot on Facebook. And you type in,
Informed Parents of
California.
Okay.
And they also started, and there's all kinds of Informed Parents of California. There's a bilingual one. We have a big, huge Hispanic community that's everything is interpreted in Spanish. We have one in Placer County. We have lots of them in individual ones, like Informed Parents of Placer County, Informed Parents of Orange County, Informed Parents of, and so all these, we're encouraging folks to form them in every county.
Okay.
And California Family Council is simply assisting these folks. That's what I love to do at my job, is simply help and assist these grassroots activating folks who've never got involved in politics before, never throw a rally, don't know how to deal with the press,
Right.
Don't know legislators, and I introduce them to everybody.
Okay.
And they're doing a fabulous job.
Okay, great. So you're really working as a liaison director for the California Family Council to get people hooked up, to get the grassroots hooked up with these legislators in Sacramento so they can make a difference and stand for our basic Judeo-Christian principles upon which this country and the state was founded on. Let me give you the final word, Greg. What do you want to leave the audience with? We've given out the California State Board of Education's number, 916-319-0800. We've given out the State Superintendent of Public Instruction, 916-319-0818, Tony Thurman. Ladies and gentlemen, you can go on the Informed Parents of California Facebook page, find out how you can help. What else can we do?
Well, we have a Facebook page too, the California Family Council. And if you want to see what happened at our rally today, it was about an hour and a half, some fabulous speakers from around the state.
Okay.
And we have the whole video on there, as well as the video from the last time we came to the Capitol on 28th. And you'll get a feel, and we heard from psychologists, we heard from 2 state senators, we heard from a member of the Orange Unified School District. Her name is Brenda Lepsek, and she is a fireball. And if we could just duplicate her on every school district, in every school district in the state, oh my gosh, this would be done. It would be over. She knows her stuff. She's actually she's been doing education. She's been a teacher for 25 years, and now she's on the school board. And she is not afraid of these talking about these issues and getting real information out. You really have to. So here's what you do: you get informed. You go to our website. You go to Informed Parents of California website, and you get informed. And then you find out what is happening into your own school district. You ask to see the curriculum. You don't just take their word for it that they're not introducing it. You show up at the school board meetings. You ask, okay, are they teaching sex ed?
They could go down to their local school. They could go down to when they drop their children off at school, they could walk in the office and say, I want to see your sex ed curriculum.
That's right. And
if
they don't listen to you, we are organizing sit-outs.
Sit-outs, okay.
Informed Parents of California sit-outs, because that's the way you get them to listen to you, because if everybody doesn't go to school one day, that removes state funding from their schools.
There you go. Let's have all the children not show up at school in grades K through 12 and have them do a sit-out.
That's right.
And then maybe we can get rid of the sexualization of our health education in the state of California. That sounds perfect.
Next week, they are planning a sex ed sit-out on the 17th.
On the 17th.
And that's right. And so if you go to informedparents.org,
informedparents.org,
and you click on there, that's right, informedparents.org, and you go to they have little events drop down. I'm on the website right now, and you go to the May 17th sex ed sit-out.
May
and it
17th.
gives you a video, explains what to do, and gives you all the detail.
Wow.
But this is how you get them to listen. If they won't listen to you, then you start taking away their money.
Right.
And you said, you know what? And if they still don't listen to you, then we have to start figuring out alternatives for education.
Right.
We can't simply let this happen and do nothing.
And
there's got to be a line in the sand where we say, you're not teaching that to my kid.
Right. Informed Parents is informedparents.org or informedparentsofcalifornia.org.
Informedparents.org.
Okay, informedparents.org, ladies and gentlemen, you got the word. You need to find out as a parent what your local education board. Is it every county that has an educational board that people can go and listen to and hear what's going on? Every county. Is it
absolutely?
Every county.
They have the final say on what curriculum is taught in schools.
Okay. So every county in California, parents should be attending their county's Board of Education meetings, and they should tell them that they demand that the sexualization of their children end, and this California health It's called the California Health Framework. That's the thing that is so really inappropriate. That this framework, this health sex ed framework, needs to end. It's called the health framework, right?
That's right. And the Department of Ed is going to use that framework to teach and to advocate for all health lessons around the state to be changed.
Okay.
And it usually happens. A school district, they have to update their health book textbooks, and they think, okay, where am I going to get some health textbooks that comply with the law? And so they'll turn to the Department of Ed for some examples of what curriculum they can use, and that's where the framework comes in. Okay. The framework will guide curriculum, and it will tell school districts exactly how they're supposed to implement the laws of the land regarding health teaching. And so it's an influencing document.
Yes.
The local school districts make the final decision, but the state is now going to push this stuff on every school district. It's parents' job, local school districts' job to resist.
And to protect children.
Absolutely.
Yes. Greg, thank you so very much for coming on the Denice Gary Show today. We greatly appreciate your time. We're so glad you were able to make a presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, I want everybody to go to Greg the website or the Facebook page that has the rally today. Tell us again where we can see.
If you want to see the rally, you go to Facebook and you type in the search engine California Family Council.
Okay? California Family Council.
Our page will come up and you'll see it has a little bear with California Family Council as the icon. You click on that, and you scroll down a little bit, and you will see the video
of the rally.
And you can watch all the parents that were there, all the speakers. Had some really inspiring speakers.
And Brenda Lipstick, she's now sitting on the California State Board of Education fighting this. Is that correct?
No, she is a school board member down in Orange.
Okay, so
Orange Unified School District.
Okay, she's another school board member, but she's fighting against it. Okay, in Orange County, not here in Kern County or any other county, but in Orange County. So, and she was there. Okay,
that's right.
Well, maybe we'll get her on the show and have her talk more about this rally on the 17th, the sit-out that's supposed to happen on the 17th. If you can, Greg, would you text me her telephone number?
Sure.
Okay, thanks a lot, Greg. Greg, you have a great rest of your day, and we'll be talking to you again, I'm sure, right here on the Denice Gary Show. Thank you so much, Greg. Blessings to you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to go to a commercial break. We've got to pay the bills. I need to pay my brand new wonderful producer, Isaac. So let's go to a break, and we will be right back.
From the halls to the shores of Tripoli, we find our country's battles in the air, on land and sea.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we are with Barb Reynolds Wallstrom today. She is the owner and operator of Tehachapi Court Services, serving the entire Kern County area. Welcome, Barb.
Thank you, Denise.
You've been at the top of your game in terms of legal matters for many, many years. And I want you to tell the audience today, what is the difference between a legal document assistant to pro per litigants as opposed to a paralegal? What's the difference?
A legal document assistant such as I has been involved with the legal work for many years, as a matter of fact, decades, and I feel quite competent and capable of helping people throughout Kern County for legal needs that they really need assistance with and can't afford an attorney.
Right.
So I'm here in Bakersfield 3 and 4 times a week. If people need me, they can call me. If they can't get to me, and why is that? Because people have to work during the day. The clients I serve are working people.
And you go to Shafter and Wasser, and you're there in Tehachapi?
I'll go there.
You're just everywhere.
I'm everywhere. And Denise, I'm not tied to a 9 to 5 environment.
Yeah.
I go where my clients need me at whatever hour. I love doing that, and they can call me. I will come to them. They can call me at whatever hour aside from 9 to 5 because people need answers and they need them quickly. They're in a high state of anxiety when they call to begin with. So they need someone that understands that once they get off from work, they might have a question. And I'm going to be there to answer that question. So call me.
She, Barb Reynolds Wallstrom is so passionate about what she does. She loves it. She's been in the business for decades, and she's the gal you want to call. You help people handle their adoptions, right?
Adoptions,
And bankruptcy.
bankruptcies, also divorces, unlawfully tainters, which are evictions, conservatorships, guardianships, living trusts. I pretty much run the gamut after 47 years.
Wow.
So,
How do people reach you, Barb? What
They
do
can contact me at area code 661-805-3306.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to call Tehachapi Court Services today. Talk to Barb. She can be reached at 661-805-3306. It's there on the screen. Give her a call. She will work with you hand in glove.
right.
Hand in glove.
I walk every step of the way with my clients.
Excellent. She'll work with you and get the job done. Thank you so much,
You're
Barb,
welcome.
for coming
Thank
in
you.
and talking about Tehachapi Court Services, 661-805-3306.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so thrilled I've got the owner of Sculpt 365 Fitness here with me today, Craig Jansen, Navy veteran. Craig, tell the audience out there why everybody in town needs to come over here and join.
Well, Sculpt 365 is a 24-hour club, so we never close, unlike a lot of other clubs here in town. Additionally, our club is always super clean, and one of the things that you're going to find here is a different environment where we strive to give you a VIP experience here. So we want to get to know you. We want to know your story. We want to know about you and how we can help you succeed and meet all of your fitness goals.
Wonderful, ladies and gentlemen. Come on down to Sculpt 365 Fitness. You're located right here on Brim Hall. Tell us your other location.
We have another location up in Tehachapi. And then our third location here in town is also located over on Chester and Columbus in the Food Mac Shopping Center.
Thank you so much, Craig. You have a wonderful day.
You too.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Denise Gary Show. Sculpt 365, they've got a brand new special for the month of May. Here we go. They are running a Cinco de Mayo special. Both on both specials, it says only $5 to sign up. So they have 1-year pricing, which is now $30 a month. So for the first 5 months, it's half off. So let's go over that again. 1 year for the first year is $30 a month. And for the first 5 months, it's half off, $50 or $30. 2-year pricing, if you want to go for 2 years, is $27 a month, and the first 5 months are half off. So if you want to sign up for a year, it's $30 a month, but the first 5 months, it's half of that, so it's $15. For 2-year pricing, it's $27 a month. First 5 months are half off, and it's only $5 to sign up. Ladies and gentlemen, check out Craig Jansen, Sculpt 365 Fitness there on Brim Hall in Callaway. They also have a beautiful facility there on Chester Avenue in the Oildale area, and one up in Tehachapi, California, and on Sage Lane. So again, I hope that you'll give business to this local family man. He is a Navy veteran that served the United States Navy and saw a tremendous amount of things there in the Middle East. We had him on to talk last year, and some of his experiences are incredible. So let's support our local businessmen and women. This is a local businessman, family man, and let's all sign up at Sculpt 365 Fitness. Okay, I want to get to the next subject. I wanted to say thank you to President Trump. Drugs. We all have to sometimes take a drug. I don't know about you, but I had to get on an antibiotic back in December. Sometimes we all get bronchitis or the flu or all kinds of things come up throughout the year. And under President Trump's leadership, the Health and Human Services has now announced, as of today, Wednesday, that there is a new rule out that's going to require pharmaceutical companies to reveal the prices of drugs they advertise in television ads. I don't know if you heard about that, but the Trump administration is going to make every drug company post the prices for their drug that they're trying to sell you in their commercial or advertising spots. I think that's incredible, incredibly important. It says apparently the Trump administration has been able to get the Democrats to agree over the past 2 years that big pharma executives and pharmacy heads need to testify, and companies are being given a 60-day notice to start complying. So, and apparently ABC News came out with this figure. It says $4.4 billion. $4 billion was spent by drug companies in television advertising, asking customers to ask your doctor about our new drug that's just come out. So one of the best ways to make things competitive and to lower drug prices is for them to let you know how much their drug is going to cost you. So I thought that was fabulous. The president, I'll be getting into that more, but there's something else I want to talk about today. But this president, President Trump, is working overtime to bring down the cost of our medical and health needs throughout the United States, and I just think that's fabulous. Okay, I want to talk about something else, but before I do, by the way, I encourage every parent, every grandparent, to get on the California Family Council Facebook page. Click on the icon of the bear for California, scroll down and check out today's rally, Wednesday's rally, and see what some of the speakers had to say about what the California State Board of Education wants to teach your children and confuse and horrify your children about things that are entirely inappropriate and I think pornographic, quite frankly. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to discuss Joe Biden for just a moment. You know, we've got right now a situation in the Western Hemisphere. We've got a place called Venezuela in South America. And in Venezuela, we have Cuban intelligence and Cuban militia groups running around the streets of Venezuela, arresting people, torturing people to death. We've got Iran in Venezuela. We've got China in Venezuela. We've got Russia in Venezuela. They're right here in the Americas. And I thought it was incredible that a presidential candidate by the name of Joe Biden stated that China, and this is a quote from Joe Biden, that California is not a threat to the United States of America, that California is not, or excuse me, the United States of America is not in competition with China. But ladies and gentlemen, I have news for you. China, together with Russia and Iran, have been working on nuclear weapons of mass destruction. Weapons of mass destruction that can be used on ballistic missiles, intercontinental ballistic missiles that can reach cities here in the United States, including California, where we all live. Well, where all of us here in California live. I think it's incredible that North Korea and China and Iran and Russia have been working together to develop these ballistic missiles, long range, medium range, short range, and intercontinental ballistic missiles with nuclear warheads. And to think that they're all right here in Venezuela, and we have people on the left, we have Democrats that are pushing an agenda that says we don't want to support Guido, the democratically elected individual who's trying to bring democracy and capitalism back to Venezuela, where people are currently starving to death, where they're killing their pets, their beloved pets, and eating them because there's no food to be found on the shelves at their local supermarket. People that are standing in line to try to receive some sort of humanitarian aid package that the United States of America is trying to provide. While again, we've got liberal leftists like Islamic extremists, they're in Congress, Ilhan Omar, the congresswoman, freshman from Minnesota, Rashida Tlaib, who's supporting Hezbollah. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, these Islamic extremists that have been elected, Rashida Tlaib from Michigan. I think of Andre Carson. I think about Ilhan Omar. I think of other leftists. I think of Nancy Pelosi, the House Majority Leader from the state of California, pushing an agenda that says we don't want to support a democratically elected individual in Venezuela, and instead are supporting Maduro, who is absolutely standing against the humanitarian interests of his own people. And ladies and gentlemen, Joe Biden, let's connect the dots. Joe Biden is saying that he is supporting China. Let's look at China for just a moment. I was doing a little bit of research on this. Come to find out, as of 2018, do you know that the United States of America had a trade deficit with China that is $378.6 billion. Joe Biden, running for the presidency of the United States, said we don't have to worry about competition with China, but we have a $378.6 billion trade deficit. Did you know that China has built what is called the Silk Road? They've opened up a passageway from China into the Muslim Middle East. And through this train that they've built, these railroad tracks, and this new sort of ancient passageway that they've opened up into the Middle East, they are arming regimes like Iran and supporting these terrorist groups. And I read a report from the president. Apparently they put out a press release. I'm not sure if I'm going to find it here. Here it is. Okay, today, President Trump, in a press release, points out that he's cutting off funds the Iranian regime uses to support its destructive activities around the world. This president is reimposing new sanctions on Iran's iron, steel, aluminum, and copper sectors. And he's making it clear to the rest of the world that Iran's top three exports, oil, petrochemicals, and metals, are now sanctioned under United States leadership, which means that our allies are not to be buying and supporting the Iranian government that is sending Hezbollah and the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps troops into the Western Hemisphere, into Venezuela, into Mexico, into other South American countries in an effort to gain a foothold here in the Western Hemisphere. Isn't that what the Monroe Doctrine of 1823 was all about? And finally, we have a president that's saying we're going to protect this hemisphere from the infiltration of Islamic terrorist groups who have already infiltrated, but the president wants to begin to scale back the monetary resources of governments like Iran that have the money, that have the resources to fund these terrorist groups that are literally building tunnels into the United States from Mexico. Ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to share out with you that Joe Biden's son, I didn't know if you, I just read this report today that his son is heavily involved in investments in China, and apparently he was, China has given him an opportunity to be an investor in a company called Bohai Harvest, RST. This organization is a government-run investment organization, and this is a man, Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden. This is a man, this is a young man who doesn't really have any investment background, but now he's deep into China's elite. There's a book that's been written called Secret Empires. We've got to take a break, but I want you to get the book. I want to get the book myself. It talks about a $1.5 billion investment in China's state-owned bank. Now let's see. Joe Biden, that's running for president, speaks as if our President Trump, our Republican leader, the leader of the Republican Party and Republicans nationwide, doesn't have a clue. But our president understands enough to pass sanctions and call for more extensive, deeper sanctions against the Iranian regime, the Islamic Republic, that is supporting rogue regimes around the world in terrorism and is working with China with regards to weapons of mass destruction. But Joe Biden's going to lecture the Republicans and President Trump on the fact that, what, China isn't a threat to the United States? And yet, and here we have Joe Biden's son in a $1.5 billion investment deal with the state-owned Bank of China as his dad, and while his dad, by the way, was involved in diplomacy during the Obama administration. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got to take a quick break. Got to pay the bills. We'll be right back with closing comments. This is the Denice Show, 5 days a week at 5. Thank you for listening. We'll be right back.
President Trump has correctly stated that economic security is national security, and in the Tehachapi Mountains of Kern County resides a United States defense contractor, Denice Products. Here is the Silicon Valley of the aerospace industry, right here in East Kern. Denice Products is a forward-leaning manufacturer and distributor of hardware sold to major defense and aerospace companies. We're talking about Boeing, Lockheed Martin, United Technologies, Northrop Grumman, Raytheon General Electric, and on the list goes, as well as to every United States ally worldwide, including Israel, America's most important strategic ally in the Middle East. And for everything that flies, Denice Products is providing the parts. And with me today is the president of Denice Products, Scott Baker. Hi, Scott.
How you doing?
Scott, tell us why you believe this corner of Kern County is the hub of the aerospace industry.
Well, this portion of Southern California here out in the Antelope Valley, it contains, some of the most cutting edge technology going on in aviation today. We have some of the UCAS programs with unmanned technologies going on. We have Edwards Air Force Base out here who's doing continual testing in their area. We have the Naval Weapons Station up there at China Lake doing some fantastic cutting edge stuff, cruise missile technology, and those things are going on. We have Scale Composites locally doing a lot of composite technology, which is new. We have SpaceX, which is a private one, putting a private entity putting things into space now. This area is the growth center for aviation's future, and this is the area I think that as a nation we need to be concentrating some of our effort and taking this technology. And as we all know, with the space program from Apollo years ago, out of these technologies, we the private sector are going to reap some of the benefits of that.
Thank you, Scott. Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Baker, president of Denice Products.
I want to close with this. While Democrat liberals are putting countries like Venezuela at risk and really supporting, I think, the death and starvation of the civilian population there, by not getting behind President Trump and supporting Juan Guaido, the legitimate leader of Venezuela. I thought it was interesting, and I want to leave you with this. The acting Secretary of Defense, Patrick Shanahan, in a joint statement with the President of Colombia, said this, that our two nations, Colombia and the United States of America, with respect to this ongoing crisis in Venezuela, are calling on Maduro to step down and allow the peaceful transition of power to Juan Guaido. And I hope that all of you, in light of this, because Juan Guaido was recognized by 54 countries around the world. He was elected by the National Assembly, democratically elected by Venezuela's National Assembly to assume the presidency of that country. And I hope that all of you will let the left know. I hope you'll let Nancy Pelosi know, and Chuck Schumer, and every elected official on the left there in the United States Senate and the House of Representatives know that they need to back President Trump in standing firm with Guaido, because once a democratically elected president is in place, the influence, the radical socialist agenda, the Islamic terrorist agenda, the agenda of jihad that's being promoted by Iran and Hezbollah inside Venezuela, all of that will begin to be slowly and steadily put to an end and crushed. But you cannot have a stable South America. You cannot have a stable region in the Western Hemisphere when you know that Cuba and China and Russia, together with Iran, is destabilizing the entire region and area and driving millions of people as refugees into other countries and creating absolute havoc. We've got to stand. Republicans have got to get this message out that the leftists, the Democrats on the wrong side of history, and they need to get with the democratically elected leader of Venezuela. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with you on the Denise Gary Show tomorrow. This is Denise, signing off.
Thank you for listening to the Denise Gary Show. Intelligent talk media.